Golden Boy and Canelo Alvarez hint at Canelo fighting in Japan, presumably against Ryota Murata. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Now make sure you guys head over to Patreon right now. You don't want to miss anything. I'm going to be shifting some of the content to the Patreon side of things. Also, YouTube channel members. Shout out to everybody who signed up. Use the link in the description to get to Patreon and set that up. YouTube channel members, click the join button right next to the subscribe button. And, you know, I got some stuff in the works. Now, I noticed this was on Golden Boy's verified account, promoter of Canelo Alvarez. And I thought this was kind of weird. So let's talk about it. It's a picture of Canelo Alvarez, and it says, quote, "I've always wanted to fight in Japan. That hope was always in my head." This is Canelo via an interview with Yahoo Japan. So he says he's always wanted to fight in Japan. That hope was always in my head. And then Golden Boy, they asked the question, do you want Canelo Alvarez to fight in Japan? This was brand new 10 hours ago. You know, so this is fresh. This is not old. Now, you guys, if you remember, Canelo was in talks with Ryota Murata's team. They were in talks to fight in Japan previously, and then it kind of fell apart. Ryota Murata. Let's see if we can pull this up. Then it kind of fell apart for whatever reason. See, look. Canelo Alvarez, Ryota Murata. It says deal was reportedly done, so it almost became like was close. It says Canelo Alvarez, Ryota Murata negotiations collapse, fight unlikely to happen. You know, so this was just recently. Canelo, Sports Illustrated, Canelo Alvarez negotiating with Ryota Murata for a spring fight. So I don't know what the deal breaker was. You know, it looked like DAZN was on board, but now you have Golden Boy, his promoter, who are bringing it up again, you know? So the reason I'm saying Ryota Murata, even though this is not saying who he would be fighting, is because it doesn't really make, to me, you know, it doesn't really make sense to fight anybody else in Japan other than the Japanese opponent that he was already linked to fight. You know, with the pandemic, it's possible that they could look at moving like a Billy Joe Saunders fight to Japan. You know, I don't know. I don't know if that's something, you know, post-pandemic that they're looking at, if they don't feel they'll be able to make the fights and get clearance to have crowds or something like that. So we don't really know. With this whole coronavirus, it's pushed a lot of things back. But I feel it's kind of weird that Canelo is saying that out of all places, he wants to fight in Japan, and this is what he's been, you know, wanting to do. It says hit harder. So he's from Mexico. It seems like he would want to fight maybe back at home, because I don't remember the last time since he's broke through in America. He's been in America since he was about 18, 19. He's about to be 30, you know. So hasn't fought in Mexico in quite some time, you know, So out of all places, he wants to fight in Japan. It seems like that could be a hint that this is the game plan for Canelo Alvarez to actually fight in Japan, because, you know, they're just trying to get people ready for it. Why else would they be talking about it? So just a little bit of speculation. We'll see what Canelo decides to do. You know, the options, they said they want him to fight 2 times this year. And I think it's a bit of clout chasing from Canelo's team to bring up some of the names, but we will see. You know, they said they want Canelo to fight 2 times this year. Possibly still, even with this pandemic pushing boxing out for the first and second quarters of the year. They're saying that David Benavidez and Caleb Plant are possible names. Me personally, I don't really see him fighting those guys in Japan. You know, it just, to me, it doesn't sound like, first of all, you already have to get over the hump of those are PBC fighters, and Canelo's the A side, so they would probably have to fight on Canelo's turf because he has an exclusive deal with DAZN. So are they going to get 2 PBC guys and get them to fight abroad in Japan against Canelo? I don't know. You know, beyond that, I don't think Canelo is going to fight those guys next anyway. You know, no matter where the fights happen, I think his team is kind of mentioning those guys, and they're looking at similar people that they were already looking at: Ryota Murata, Billy Joe Saunders, and Gennady Golovkin. But they know that there's pressure if they say just that. So, you know, they want to give the impression that they're looking at all these other different people. You know, it's the same thing. We seen Top Rank do this with Manny Pacquiao, where they would list all these wonderful names. You know, Keith Thurman, I'm talking about years ago before Keith Thurman and Pacquiao fought. You know, these different names that would be linked to Pacquiao, and then he would fight Tim Bradley 3 or Jesse Vargas or some other person, Chris Algieri, Brandon Rios, none of which people were really wanting at the time. But they would throw in a bunch of names that were better fights, Ruslan Provodnikov and Adrian Broner. I'm talking about before he fought these guys, you know, like Adrian Broner or Keith Thurman. You know, they talk about Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, and then none of those would ever happen at that time. And then he would end up fighting someone. So we'll see. We'll see what's next for Canelo. But you let me know what you guys think of him fighting in Japan, possibly. I feel like they're hinting at it for some reason. So you tell me what that reason is. Would he fight Ryota Murata? How much credit would you give him for beating a guy like Ryota Murata and fighting Ryota Murata? I would like to know that in the comments section. Also, sign up for ESPN Plus. Link is in the description. ESPN Plus, the home of a ton of exclusives, behind the scenes, you know, all kinds of content. So help you get through this quarantine with ESPN Plus. Link in the description. Get it as a standalone app, or you can combine it. ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. Get all 3 apps, one price with that bundle, and it's $12.99 a month. It does help the channel. Let me know what you guys think of Canelo fighting in Japan. I thought it was, you know, pretty random that they keep wanting to explore this. So I just want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Drop that in the comment section. Let me know. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.